So many things to get after today. What's on the list? Grocery shopping? Nah. Laundry? Wah. Clutch is still sticking on the tractor. There's something else I needed to get after today. What was it?
It's time for a rock and metal update!
What? Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's LJ, and it's time for another rock and metal update, vinyl update, and I love these, so let's jump right in. What we just kicked off with is the debut album from Holy Grail. It's called Crisis in Utopia. It's been out for a few years. Great album. Really started to grow on me. Here's some sealed vinyl that showed up over the past year or so. I don't stumble on a whole lot of sealed vinyl, so when the price is right, I'll grab it. Keeping it sealed forever and ever and ever and ever is a great way to make sure they get warped. But you can usually tell. If you pick up an album and it feels like the shrink's too tight and the record's already warped, I'll just walk away. I do have unsealed copies of all of these. But again, these are just cool when they show up sealed. This is Cheap Trick's Dream Police. It's a killer record. It has the nice price tag still on it. Here's another one. This is Blue Oyster Cult, Tyranny and Mutation. The next one was pretty cool. I was pretty happy to find this. This is Black Sabbath's Greatest Hits. This is a UK press. It's on NEM. Here's another one. This is an original AC/DC Highway to Hell from 79. There you go. Here is Dio's Last in Line. This is a fantastic album. I absolutely love this. This is from 84. It's Dio's second solo album, right after Holy Diver in 83. Fantastic album. Again, just not something that you normally find sealed. Again, check that out. Can you see that? Brand spanking new, as if you had just gotten it for Christmas. For $1 at a yard sale. Here's a near mint. I think this is a second pressing of Kisses Destroy. This has the tan Casablanca labels. I have a couple that have the first pressing, the blue Casablanca labels. And in the same box, same yard sale, one more crisp dollar bill. Got me a near mint copy of Rock and Roll Over. Again, another album I already have. This one doesn't have the inserts, but the vinyl is gorgeous, and I do have a copy that does have the inserts. All right, let's rock and roll. What is it? What is it? No, it's not Metallica's Black Album. It's just a black jacket that showed up. It's kind of thumbing through. So what on earth is this? Let's take a look. What on earth is this? What is it? What could it be? Does that say, can you see that? There you go. Does that say AC/DC Live Bootleg? Hey, no information sheet, nothing pasted on the jacket cover, but whoever owned it did write some of the song titles there. This is from 1978. This is known by a number of different titles. It's just Live 78 is what this one appears to be called. And it's just a killer set list. Huge high energy from Bon Scott. This is right before Highway to Hell came out. Some great stuff. It's got Livewire, Problem Child, Gone Shootin', Bad Boy Boogie, Rocker. It's from the Paradise in Boston. And it has a couple other songs placed in there. One from a show in Scotland, like I'm showing you this like it's anything to look at. And one from the UK as well. But seriously, AC/DC bootlegs just don't show up all that often. So there we go. Next up, I couldn't have been more excited when I found out Back on Black was reissuing Angel of Retribution. First of all, I love Back on Black. It's a phenomenal label and they do outstanding reissues. Second, Angel of Retribution is one Judas Priest album that I've wanted on vinyl for the longest time, but originals go for ridiculous money. So here is Angel of Retribution. White vinyl, 2 LP set, well done. I could not be happier to have this. And what can I tell you about it? Well, for me, it's Painkiller meets Jugulator meets Screaming for Vengeance meets Defenders of the Faith. If you know Judas Priest, you know all those albums. It's just Judas Priest, and it just kills. It's awesome, and it sounds phenomenal on vinyl. I also highly doubt it will be around for very long. Most Back on Black reissues are not, so if it's something that you're interested in, I would highly suggest you grab it pretty quick while it's still available. Next in line, finishing the White Wizzard collection. Here are the last two that I needed. This is Flying Tigers. This is an outstanding album. This picks up right where Over the Top left off. White Wizzard's third album, and it still has Wyatt Screamin' Demon Anderson on vocals, and Wyatt was the singer on Over the Top as well, which is a killer album. This is just a three-piece though, so in true White Wizzard fashion, the guitar players bolted after Over the Top, and that left John Leon, who is the bass player and the only consistent member of White Wizzard to handle not only bass, but leads and rhythm guitars as well. If you have heard or dug White Wizzard's Over the Top, you would absolutely dig this as well. Fantastic packaging. This is from Earache in the UK. Killer labels. Pretty neat vinyl. Some kind of clear with like a white splatter on it. And you know me, if black vinyl is an option, I will go for it every time. This was only available on clear, and I wasn't going to say no. Amazing album. Now check out the next one. Right, so where did we leave off? The other White Wizzard album that I needed to finish the collection. This is The Devil's Cut. So this came out after the one that I just showed you, and White Wizzard completely reforms. So again, you still have John Leon, but now you've also picked up a handful of other members. Here's the new singer, Joseph Michael, I believe is his name. Very, very different for White Wizzard. Joseph sounds a lot to me like, if you're familiar with Axel Rudy Pell, I know I've showed him in the past, their lead singer, Johnny Gielli, he sounds a lot like that, a lot more raspy. So, you know, if you're a lifelong fan of metal and you remember when Anthrax switched from Joey Belladonna over to the guy from Armored Saint, his name's escaping me right now, it's kind of like that kind of switch, you know what I mean? You're used to something very, very different, and then along pops this. So the new musicians that they got, Jake Dreyer, Will Wallner, both new guitar players, they definitely have that White Wizzard sound, that White Wizzard punch. Giovanni Durst, he was the drummer for the last 3 White Wizzard albums. So again, their lineup doesn't really change every single album. That's a bit harsh. So it still sounds like White Wizzard, but it's just the vocalist. And, you know what I mean? It's not bad. It's not my favorite White Wizzard album. It's probably my least favorite White Wizzard album, but it's still absolutely fantastic. And of course, what's interesting is what we're listening to in the background. If you can hear, I'm trying to keep it low. Holy Grail. 3 members in that band were in White Wizzard when White Wizzard started. So you can see how confusing the whole Holy Grail White Wizzard thing gets when you really get deep into it. All I can say is Flying Tigers and Devil's Cut are both absolutely excellent albums. Now, if there's one album LJ has wanted and has not been able to find in the US, it was always pretty easy to find in Europe, but again, it's a pricey import at that point. Yeah, King Diamond's The Eye. The King Diamond collection nears completion. At least the first 7 or 8 albums. I actually don't have anything on vinyl from King Diamond from the mid-90s forward. But The Eye, my personal favorite King Diamond album ever. Ever, ever, ever. All of the first 5 or 6 are fantastic, but The Eye, man, The Eye just drills it home.
Drills it home.
Killer album. Absolutely love this one. It's everything that makes King Diamond great. Here's the insert with some pretty cool pictures. And it sounds outstanding on vinyl. I was this close to pulling the trigger, finally, on a European import. And I said, nah, I don't feel like spending that much money for it. And then I got the email from Nuclear Blast that guess what was coming back out on vinyl. So here it is. It's just a really well-balanced album. King has some stuff where he just sings for 50 minutes, and it's like, ugh, this is none of that. Those albums are good. This one's great. And next up, thank you very much, Finland. Here is Speed Trap's Power Dose. Classic Exciter meets very early Metallica, like Kill 'Em All era Metallica. You throw those two together, and you've got an album that just refuses to get off the turntable for more than a couple hours at best, and it's just right back on. This album is just amazing. Out of Time, Out of Line is a song I want you to look up on YouTube and give it a listen, because I don't often repeat tracks on vinyl, because who wants to get up and replay a song on vinyl? You usually listen to one side and then the next. Maybe you repeat a side. But that song is one that I just have to get up and play again, and play again, and play again. By the sticker alone, it's a Motorhead crash of speed metal, punk, rock and roll, and rapid fire guitars. And that couldn't possibly be more accurate. You've got to check out Speed Trap. Alright, I know I've talked in the past about a friend of mine that's been thinning out his collection while I've been bulking up for the winter, and that's good, because it's here. So the next 4, I think, came from that collection. So, dude, thank you very much. Absolutely loving them. Here is a 10-inch. This is from Girl School. This is Come On, Let's Go. Come On, Let's Go is from Girl School's second album, Hit and Run. But it also has Tonight and Demolition, recorded live in '81. But just fantastic. In Girl School, female Motorhead. I mean, if you know Girl School, you know Girl School, and that's just what they sound like. I don't think they're still going. If I'm wrong, leave me a note, let me know. But great stuff. Next up, same collection here is Death Dealer, and this is Keeper of the Flame. I think this is 1986. They were a one-and-done band, but Death Dealer is like Iron Maiden meets early Sabotage. Good Sabotage, not Christmas music Sabotage. Like Sabotage's first couple albums, Dungeons Are Calling and Sirens. Mash that up with like early Maiden, like Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, and you've got Death Dealer. Raw production on purpose that sounds killer. It reminds me a lot of listening to like Slayer's Show No Mercy. It's just got that raw early 80s production. Highly worth checking out. Next up, another one I've wanted in the collection for a long time. Here's the fourth and final independent release from who are these guys? Who are these guys? The Cowboys from Pantera! Look at how young Dime is right there. That's just killer. This is the first Pantera album, if you're not familiar, and if you're watching this video, you probably are, otherwise you've got some homework to do. The first album with Phil Anselmo on vocals. Phil would go on to really try my patience, so would Pantera as a band. But here, this is just Pantera shaking off any last remaining semblance of a glam metal band, which is very definitely what they started out as. And there's just precursors all over this album of what would be next on Cowboys from Hell. This has been bootlegged a lot of times, and I've seen those. This happens to be an original on Metal Magic Records. Anyways, this is from 1988. Just an absolutely smoking album. The next two that came, Cowboys from Hell and Vulgar Display of Power, I definitely dig. Anything after that, I just can't stand Pantera. Sorry. Here's Hanoi Rocks, and this is Hanoi's second album. Still very early stuff. This is an import. What a fantastic album. This is so different from their major label debut, Two Steps from the Move. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic album. Any Hanoi is just killer stuff. Straight out of 1990, here is Reverend, World Won't Miss You. So who's Reverend? Reverend was David Wayne's band after he left Metal Church. So you get through Metal Church and The Dark, those two Metal Church albums, David Wayne leaves, and here is Reverend. Reverend is a fantastic band, and it sounds exactly like a Metal Church album. But what's funny is it has both guitar players from Heretic joined Reverend with David Wayne. Why is that funny? Well, Metal Church needed a new singer, so not only did Heretic lose two guitarists to Reverend, but they lost a singer to Metal Church. And what that leaves you with is the Lost Metal Church album, and it's a killer album. So I have no problem telling you it's getting to be that time of the year when you start working on your best of 2014 list, and this is very definitely one of them. Huge, huge choruses, galloping drums, killer leads. This is Screamer's second album, Phoenix. So on High Roller Records, much like the first album was, Screamer is straight out of Sweden, and I swear they spiked the water in Sweden with something pretty damn well amazing, because I can't even begin to tell you how many insanely good metal albums and metal bands are coming from Europe, and more specifically, Sweden as of late. Think about it. Screamer, Enforcer, and the list just goes on and on and on. This absolutely blew me away. There is plenty for you to listen to on YouTube here as well if you're interested. Demon Rider, No Sleep Till Hamilton, No Regrets. Like, the whole first side of this album is easy to find on YouTube. Here, stare at those. Bookmark them. Think about them. There you go. Look. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take off on your Screamer quest. You will see that album again, make no mistake about it. But here we go, last in line, Aaron sent me Madhouse. This is a record that came out on Aaron's own label, Beer and Jesus Records. And I have to agree with the earlier comment, if you know Aaron, man, that makes perfect sense. So this, as far as I can tell, is the band's first demos, and they were recorded in 1988. And it's just got all the elements just of a killer classic independent release. Mimeograph sheets, Xerox sheets, copy machine sheets, lyrics, picture of the band, and I mean, it just sounds like it was early demos, you know what I mean? It's absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It's got a very garage sound to it. Not garage rock, garage metal. You know, like, got all together in the garage, hit the button on the Sears door opener, it came down, it got stuck halfway, they didn't let him stop. They recorded it anyways, and again, this is super limited to just a few hundred copies, and Aaron sent one along, and I really appreciate it because it was just awesome. Thanks, Aaron. So that's it. I'm just going to hang out here and keep listening to Holy Grail, but thanks everyone for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave me a comment if you have one, and until next time, stay heavy.